have to announce who it is speaking because I don't have my hat anymore. I look very similar to another guy, but anyway, I wanted to share an experience with you today. Basically, once upon a time, I mean, it's like such a long story that I'm trying to decide exactly where to start and how much to tell. I'll just say this. I left it all behind, right? This was 2017. First, I went to Africa, and while I was there, I was going through processes that had to do with what all I left behind, and a lot of emotions, and withdrawals too, because when I was in California, especially right toward the end, I was on that sour diesel. California, that kind of stuff is readily available, and Kahlua, that was my diet. Then I left, went to Africa for 10 days. And after that was over, I went to Kathmandu. And I didn't Google it first. All I knew was the Golden Child. And I landed at night, and it's just dark. I mean, I think it was cloudy or something because there are some lights, right? But it just felt like landing in darkness. I had no idea what it was going to be like. I got a taxi, went to the cheapest hotel in all of Kathmandu that was available on booking.com. And anyway, okay, let's speed the story up a little bit. I went to Lumbini, birthplace of the Buddha, sat in lotus position where he was born, where they say he was born. Not on the rock, but, right outside. And then at first I wasn't talking to foreigners. I mean, I wasn't talking to people like me. I was only talking to people from India and Nepal who were in Nepal. And then one day I started talking to other tourists. And I started making a lot of friends. And I stayed at a hostel in Pokhara. And that's where I met Carlos. And Carlos had hash. And I hadn't had a cigarette in 5 years either, but he was mixing hash and tobacco. And so I don't know, I think I was more into the tobacco than the hash, but it was too much fun. Too much to go from zero tolerance and then pew. Anyway, enough about that. Eventually I came back to Kathmandu. And then I decided to stay at this place that was recommended by a friend of mine. And it was this hotel there in Tamil. And it was across from this brick building with really interesting, a little bit of interesting, subtly interesting architecture. And gargoyles, I guess. Some kind of Nepali equivalent of gargoyles. And I'd walk around, I'd have a bag of peanuts and a samosa. And, I was very thin and I think I was still vegan, although I was starting to have eggs at that time. And then I think at one point I got a hold of some really good hash. It was a gift. They just gave it to me, but it was freaking good. And I had gone back to smoking cigarettes. All right, that sets the scene. So there I was in Kathmandu, and this wasn't just one morning, this was many mornings. This was like a lifestyle. There was a point where my friend from Japan, I met him there. I'd have neighbors occasionally, so I'd make friends and go explore and go out drinking and stuff like that. Anyway, but most of the time I was alone because they'd come and they'd go, but I was living there. For 4 months I was in that hotel. And I had a little morning ritual where I'd wake up, maybe I'd take a shower, I don't remember. And it was cold. I'd go downstairs and say, order breakfast, go back upstairs. I think I'd have a cup of coffee, or while I was waiting for the coffee, something like that. Somewhere in the morning, I'd be sitting in that chair outside my room, looking across at that brick building with the gargoyles, vaguely thinking, like, what am I doing here? But very glad to be out, away, thousands of miles away from my former life. So I'd put on my headphones, open up Spotify, and hit play.
I so caress my baroforo, I baroforo c'è ora ciorda nel graino, c'è ora ciorda nel ceia, c'è ora passo da romaino, muro e lodu halama, for they could never measure, куравленцо текерав. По свету ме парно проджава, муро и лоду халама, and I will never hasavava. I so take a rub. The silver plane now will be landed. Only one day, only one time. Call your best friend, let's take him with us. Oh, so take a rub. The silver plane now will be leaving onto new space, onto new time. По свету ме парно проджава, милой роду халама, for they could never measure. Oh, so take it out. Our silver plane now will be leaving onto new space, onto new time.
And then the next track would come on.
Ща будет круто, бля! Ща будет круто! что, не знай кого. Ищи кого, а то кого. А или чего, 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 чего.
Just wanted to share that with myself in the future. Anyone else who might have enjoyed it.